Two researchers joined together from Northern Michigan University and Michigan State University to study a farm and try to understand and develop better organic farming techniques. This is the third event in NMU's Climate at Noon series. It's titled To Till or Not to Till, Climate Resilient Agriculture Practices. It saw an NMU and MSU professor explain their learnings at Full Plate Farms in Skandia. The professors explained that tillage can help aerate soils, manage weeds, and more. But that can be an Achilles heel for organic farmers.
Taking our inspiration is from the innovation that's happening already on farms for some of the systems that exist already but maybe could be improved or honed a little bit, like rolling and crimping of cover crops. And our goal based on that was to try to compare these different systems and understand how they function in really a holistic sense. Experiencing on the farm.
There is one more event coming up in the Climate at Noon series happening April 17th.